All right, today we're going to go over the three shapes of minor triads on string set 4, 3, and 2. All right, we did majors yesterday. I'll have a link right up here. So it might be worth watching that first because our minors are basically just one note different than what the major triad is. But I'll refer to the major triads. So there's going to be three minor triads. We're going to start with our first major triad, which I called the stair step, where you're basically putting a finger on each of the three strings and just descending onto the next fret, next string. So that's why I call it a stair step. So first of all, the sequence of the strings, when we play these triads, it always goes, and it doesn't always start with the root, but the sequence is always root 3 5, root 3 5. If it starts with a 3, it's 3 5 root 3 5 root. If it starts with the 5, it's 5 root 3 5 root 3. But it's always, it just goes higher from the root or the 1 to the 3 and the 5. All right. So in this root position, which is what the stair step is for a major triad, that's the root. So we know that the third is the next string, or the string that's in the middle, all right, of the 4, 3, 2 string set. And all we have to do to make a minor triad from this is lower that note by 1. We'll have to finger it a little bit differently, and what I do is I just put my index finger on the bar or on the fret, and I kind of leave my ring finger where it was, and now I've made it a minor. So this is a minor triad. This is a root position minor triad. And if we know where the root is, then we know the name of the chord. Okay, this is an A minor. All right. The other thing that helps me know it's an A minor triad is when I play an A minor bar chord here at this fret, okay, I know that that's where the A minor is, and but I'm only playing these three strings, but that kind of gives you a point of reference. So if I'm used to say a G minor here, I know that that's a G minor. So that's your first shape. Root position, root, minor third, 5. Okay. The next shape is going to be the major triad is what I call the zigzag, which is based off of a C chord shape. Okay, but maybe I'll just bar it right here on the 5th. Okay, that's the major. So let's find the root. The root with this shape, the root is actually on the B string, okay? So the third is going to be, we're going to have to start over. This is the third. That would be the 5th. That's the root. So the third is going to be in the bass for the first inversion. And we want to go from a third to a flatted third or a minor third. So we're just going to have to lower that. But rather than twisting our fingers like that, let's just make a little backward pyramid or a triangle. Pyramid or triangle. Those three strings, that is a minor triad. Okay. What is it though? Is it an A minor, D minor, G minor? Well, that B string holds the key. That's the root note. And to know what that is, from the second string, the rule for finding the octave would be going back 3 and over 2. And if that is the same note, I know that that's an F. And the other reason I know it's an F is that zigzag shape, the major triad. If I did my homework when I watched the major triad video, I know that that's where an F chord is, okay? So I know that that note is an F, and this little triangle, or the first inversion minor triad, is an F minor. Okay? That leaves us with the straight across major triad, where we're fretting all three strings on the same fret. Now in this case, the root is in the middle, which means the third is going to be on that B string, okay, because it goes root 3 5, root 3 5. Okay, so if that's the 3, we're going to make it a minor third, so we have to lower it by 1, which results in making kind of like this A minor shape. But we're up on this fret here. Okay, what's that chord? Well, the root is in the middle. That's a D. That's a D minor. Okay? And I know it's a D minor also because I play bar chords, and I know that's a D minor. That's a D. That's an A. That's an A minor. D. D minor. So I'm familiar with these chord shapes just by playing bar chords. So playing bar chords does help you kind of learn where chords are and the positions and the names. Okay, so that little, I call that a little chair, has the root in the middle. That is a D minor. So now let's employ this. We've learned these 6 shapes, the 3 major shapes and the 3 minor shapes on that 4-3-2 string set. And let's play a chord progression. Let's say G, B minor, C, and D. And I'm going to play right up here, and I know that this is a G. That's the zigzag. That's a G, a B minor. I'm just going to lift my middle finger. That's a B minor, okay, which I just learned that shape. That's the root, that's a B. That's the root position minor. And then a C is a couple ways. Well, I'm going to play the C like this because it's closest to this neighborhood. I'm trying to play all these chords in one little neighborhood where they're all going to sound different, but I don't have to do a lot of moving, all right? And I don't have to do a lot of looking, because I'm not jumping 3 or 4 frets. So that's the other benefit. So again, G, B minor, C. Now I can just slide up to a D, or I can bar that straight across major triad on the 7th fret. So that could be my D. Let's try that. Whoops. There I went from a G to a D. I'm going to go to a B minor though. So find chord progressions and pick an area, and you'll be able to move within just a few frets and pretty much have a major or minor triad that you can finger in that neighborhood, and just drill yourself. You'll get a lot comfortable with just learning and knowing those 6 shapes, knowing where the root is, and just by memory, I know that when I put the zigzag here, that's an F. So anytime I need an F, I can play it right there. And if I need an E, it's there. I need an E flat, it's there. And a D, and everything else. So hopefully this helps. That's your minor triads on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. Subscribe, comment, appreciate. Bye.